Hi, this is Vernon, and I'm going to talk to you about chasing time travelers. That's a hobby I created for entertainment because I felt like it, I guess. But I think there are time travelers out there. Some portion of them I think are Americans, and some are probably not. My basic theory is that at some point in the future, American military people will travel backwards in time and they will leave evidence of their adventures in places like the Yucatan Peninsula, Western Mexico, South America, Egypt, and maybe some other places. So, do I really think time travel is possible? I don't know if time travel is possible. I just know that I've seen too much evidence in support of time travel, and that's mainly what this little slideshow is going to be about. I'm not going to talk about the science of time travel, the physics of it, because first I don't know it, and second there are plenty of YouTubes online you can watch about that subject. I first started to suspect time travel when right after 9/11 actually, and because these tablets seem to have predicted 9/11. And of course, there are scientific reasons why that's. I mean, we can make anything fit anything that we want to, right? We can we can throw tea leaves into a cup of water and you know make them say anything we want. But I'll show you the evidence why I think the Davenport tablets are evidence of time travel. That's not the main thing I want to talk to you about. So I'll talk to you about Nielsen, Holger Nielsen and Masao Ninomiya for a second. So those are prominent scientists who said they believed that the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland could function as a time travel device. In fact, they said they believed it was being used at the time as a time travel device. Excuse me. They said there were so many things going wrong with the Large Hadron Collider that they thought it was that people in the future were using the collider to send back birds and things to sabotage the collider because presumably because there was something dangerous about it. The Mesoamerican meeting in 2018 I found pretty interesting. Those are anthropologists and archaeologists who focus on largely on the Mayas and other groups, but mainly the Mayas. And in fact, I think that meeting used to be called the Mayan meetings or something like that. But some of the scientists, I attended that meeting. I didn't talk at it, I was just listening. And some of the scientists there said, and this was off the record, so I won't mention any names, but they showed in their presentations they showed evidence of these time anomalies, and then so I questioned a few of them later, and they said, yeah, it's almost as if they were talking about time travel, is what one of the scholars said, and which I was delighted to hear, but that's not anything they said publicly. So okay, so let me go on to talk about Barry Fell for a moment. Excuse me. So, Barry Fell was a Harvard professor who studied ancient tablets, carvings on ancient tablets. He was an epigrapher. And he had a lot to say about the Davenport tablets. He believed they were authentic. If you ask an archaeologist or a scientist today if the Davenport tablets are authentic, they'll say no. We think those things are fake. They probably didn't really look into them, but that's what they learned in graduate school, that to call them fake, so they're just repeating what they were told. I think the Davenport tablets are evidence of time travel. They're not the main piece of evidence I want to talk to you about. I'm mainly going to talk to you about the Mayas. And this is not the 2012 calendar, this is other stuff. Here's an image of the Large Hadron Collider. Okay, that's the end of part one of my big discussion about chasing time travelers. Basically, my theory is that when you look at a map of the Yucatan Peninsula, you're looking at a map of the heavens, and so those thousands of ancient temple cities that you see in the Yucatan. My theory is that those ancient cities represent planets, and one of those planets is Earth. And so there's Ekbalam and there's Uxmal and Ashtankar and Zibanche, and there are many of those places have not even been excavated. There are thousands of those ancient temple cities. Some are small, some are large. When you're walking through Chichen Itza, you're walking through an ancient map of the modern world, is my theory. So when you're walking through the ball court, if you've traveled in Washington, D.C., it's laid out the same way. And if you compare the names of those temples with what's going on with the temples, the structures that we have in D.C., you'll see some similarities. And that's largely what I want to talk to you about. And if you're walking through the ancient Mayan city of Uxmal, you're walking through a map of Asia. American maps, maps today, this is 2022. Contemporary maps are maybe 3 feet by 3 feet, and we can put them on our kitchen table. But the people who designed those ancient maps, those places were like 1 square mile, 4 square miles, 9 square miles, and so on, of massive temples, and they're so large that you don't realize you're walking through a map. That's how big they are. So that's what I want to talk to you about.